Prime Minister and Head of Government Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute presides over the official opening ceremony of the third meeting of the Lake Chad Basin Governors Forum. This on the instructions of the Head of State. Important issues on housing and habitat in the country have come to the fore with the visit to Cameroon of the Executive Director of UN Habitat, Maimouna Mokht Sharif. She will be our guest in this newscast. Post-secondary school candidates hoping to gain admission into one of the universities in the country are struggling with admission steps into the faculties of their choosing. This story in this newscast. Good evening and welcome to the 7:30 news. I am Benin Bumagana. Welcome.
We must remain vigilant and mobilized, for this rapidly changing health crisis is still around. Together, we must resolutely continue the crucial phase of the fight against this virus through vaccination.
Once again, good evening. We open with this press release from the Prime Minister's office on the esteemed instructions of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, the Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gute, shall on Monday, 4th October 2021 at 9:30 a.m. at the Yaoundé Conference Center preside at the official opening ceremony of the third meeting of the Lake Chad Basin Governors Forum for Regional Cooperation in Stabilization, Peace Building and Sustainable Development. Signed, the Director of Cabinet, Balungeli Confiance Ebune. And as we're saying, the third meeting of the Lake Chad Basin Governors Forum begins in Yaoundé tomorrow, Monday. The governors will examine and propose solutions to common issues affecting member states and look at regional cooperation and stabilization and sustainable development. Here is Kilian Datndifon with the challenges that member states are facing.
8 governors will be attending the forum, 3 from Nigeria, 2 from Cameroon, 2 from Chad, and 1 from Niger. On the discussion table, the resistance and the re-insurging activities of the terrorist sect Boko Haram will be a priority. The new strategies of the terrorists and a counter-strategy is a challenge to the 4 countries who all have internal security problems to tackle. Individual, bilateral, multilateral, and collective action plans to control and overcome other forms of trans-border crime will equally occupy a prime position during the forum. Cameroon and Nigeria are currently facing a threat to unity from separatist fighters. Chad is yet to fully recover from the rebels that assassinated its president a few months ago. On the sidelines of diverse security problems, the 8 governors of the Lake Chad Basin area will have to look at the ingredients of regional cooperation, which are stability, peace building, and sustainable development. Such activities as community confidence building and reconstruction of destroyed areas have to be on the discussion table. Sustainable development is another aspect that will have to be refocused in such a way that brings about a feeling of social justice and community participation in their life processes. The third forum in Cameroon comes after the first in Nigeria in 2018 and in Niger in 2019. The COVID-19 context obstructed activities in 2020.
Let's now listen to an excerpt of the interview the governor of the Far North region, Mijiyawa Bakari, granted to Kilian Datndifon, where the governor is outlining the agenda of the forum.
It will be about the regional stabilization first, the peace building and sustainable development. As far as the Far North region is concerned, we have done a lot with the governor of the Borno state. He paid at least 3 visits to Cameroon, to Marwa, and then we held meeting. We decide to accompany the refugees And we also discussed about regional development.
That is the governor of the Far North region, Mijiyawa Bakari, giving out the agenda of the forum that begins tomorrow. On to one of our lead stories. The visiting executive director of the UN Habitat, Maimuna Mott Sharif, has hailed government's strive to provide low-cost houses to solve the shortage of comfortable houses. She was speaking after visiting the Olembe low-cost houses in the company of Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestine Kecha-Cortez. Romeo Kenyi was there and brought back this report.
The low-cost houses in Olembe were the first concern of the executive director of UN Habitat, Maimuna Mott Sharif. Accompanied by Housing and Urban Development Minister Celestine Kecha-Cortez, both officials were presented the construction plans of different facilities. Similar houses will soon be built in Banga Bakoko and other parts of the country.
I'm very happy to see that the existing development and the future development from the briefing just now that you already take into account of the new smart cities like solar panel and also the planning of the compact cities. Housing is a human right. We need clean environment. And I'm happy you already have the sewage treatment plant.
Then a courtesy visit to the Yaoundé 2 Council punctuated with a tour at the Madagascar market, where council officials revealed it will soon be renovated. A stopover at the Bois Sainte-Anastasie, Independence Square, the newly erected Unity Monument, and finally, the headquarters of the Special Council Support Fund for Mutual Assistance, FECOM, crowned these activities.
Experts in housing and urban development say the growing anarchic construction of housing in Yaoundé issues from poor strategic planning and the implementation of policies regulating the housing sector. In the following report, Romeo Kenyi says government is also working to reshape the phenomenon.
Overpopulation is considered as one of the numerous drawbacks that has led to anarchical constructions which keep cropping over time in the city of Yaoundé, and swampy areas have been turned to be fertile grounds earmarked for building, although many ignore the risks involved.
For any city to develop normally, we must have a strategic plan which is planned in phases of maybe 5-10 years and which is strictly followed, because it is only that planning and that follow-up which can permit that people can live easily, they can get from one point to the next.
Rural urban migration is listed amongst leading factors of the phenomenon, but experts opine effective policies on housing could redress the problem.
We have not taken the measures to ensure that these things are done and that there's a clear-cut policy of building, of planning and executing what we have as a development plan for the cities.
The 2021 World Habitat Day, to be observed this Monday, October 4, on the theme Accelerating Urban Action for Carbon-Free World, comes to highlight the necessity of better housing conditions in cities, and Yaoundé is not left out.
And according to statistics from UN Habitat, the urban growth rate in Cameroon from 2015 to 2020 stands at 3.63% with a rapidly growing urban population. The National Urban Development Policy implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development aims at providing housing solutions. Cynthia Saptala tells us more.
With a population of more than 20 million, statistics shows that the cities of Yaoundé and Douala houses more than 20% of this population, an indication of the rapidly growing urban population. Cameroon's national urban policy, as guided by UN Habitat, aims for a long-term sustainable urban development. The policy then adopted is one which aims at controlling urban growth and promoting the rational use of land by implementing urban infrastructure management strategies with the introduction of social housing.
Importance of housing for all individuals and promote policies and strategies of housing for all.
With UN numbers showing an urban growth rate estimated at 3.6% by 2020, the challenge now is to provide decent lodgings to the increasing numbers now living in settlements in the cities. To that effect, the Ministry of Housing, together with the Real Estate Company of Cameroon, is involved in numerous projects on low-cost housing with the participation of the private sector.
And the UN Habitat Executive Director on a walking visit to Cameroon in prelude to the World Habitat Day has reiterated the organization's commitment to work with Cameroon to promote the national strategy for slum prevention. She was speaking with local authorities and urban development stakeholders at the head office of the Special Council Support Fund for Mutual Assistance, FECOM, in Yaoundé. Giro Jinana reports.
According to the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, 54% of Cameroonians live in urban areas. These areas generally lack necessary social amenities due to their poor structuring, thus the need to meet with stakeholders in a bid to enhance urban renewal for transformative change.
I'm very, very happy to spend around 3 hours discussing about the urban renewal, urban regeneration of various cities in Cameroon.
The presence of the UN Habitat Executive Director in Cameroon ahead of the World Habitat Day translates the country's desire to promote the Sustainable Development Goals.
Engagement with the local communities is very important. I would like to call for action. Don't wait and do it now.
Mayors of city councils and concerned state ministries present had a technical exchange on how to improve housing conditions, thereby promoting development in Cameroon as a whole.
And as we announced to you in the headlines, we have with us the Visiting Executive Director of UN Habitat, Maimuna Mohammed Sharif. Well, they say Mot Sharif, but it's Mohammed Sharif. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Ben, for having me here. Thank you so much.
You've been in Cameroon a few days. I even saw you went to the market. How have you enjoyed Cameroon?
This is my first trip to Cameroon.
Okay.
I think to witness the real urbanization in Yaoundé.
Okay.
And when I went to the market to see the power of women, because most of the vegetables were selling the vegetable at the market, mostly a woman.
Yeah. Okay.
So we need to address the opportunities for everyone to make a living in Cameroon and also in Yaoundé. I think I'm very happy to be here. Yes.
Of course. So once again, you're welcome. Now tell us, what is World Habitat Day? And this time the theme is accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world. What is that all about?
Yeah, World Habitat Day is the most important day for our agency. This is aim to raise awareness about, and also to raise awareness and to share challenges, to share solution on sustainable urbanization. This is very important, and it is celebrated globally in Yaoundé this time, and also in other parts of the world. So this is mandated by the General Assembly since 1985, and this is very, very important. I feel that it's to be in Yaoundé because of the rates of urbanization as mentioned by the minister this afternoon, and it's very timely because the theme of the World Habitat Day 2021 is accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world.
Matter of fact, you already started answering the next question I was going to ask. What relevance is, the celebration of this day in Cameroon? What relevance to Africa and particularly to Cameroon?
Africa is one of the continents with the highest urbanization rate. Africa and Asia. And Cameroon experienced 52% of the population live in urban areas. And Cameroon is also experiencing the urban challenges, urban sprawl, housing challenges. I don't want to say it's problem because it's very negative challenges, and then basic services, waste management, housing, and then it's jobs. So I think when having this World Habitat Day in Yaoundé is the opportunity to discuss the challenges and also to celebrate the success. Okay. And Cameroon has shown their leadership in implementing the new urban agenda, in achieving the SDG. And this is shown when I travel throughout for the past 2 days in Yaoundé. So this is very, very important and climate change is one of the problem now. Yep. In not only in Cameroon, it's also globally.
Now, after you say you traveled a lot in Yaoundé. After the few visits, what is that message you would have for Cameroonians watching at this moment?
I think Cameroon have the leadership, and people in Cameroon is resilient. You can see that it's a lot of activities. When I travel, a lot of economic activities along the road. And climate change is real. And whatever that the policies that is already implemented, is already drafted by the National Urbanization Policy for 2030, and then the slum prevention. My message is that we have to turn this policy into action, into impact, and we cannot wait. We have to do it now.
Thank you very much. You've been working very, very closely with the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Celestine Kwecha-Kutes, and I'm very, very convinced that you've seen government's willingness to bring all of what you're saying to action.
Yes, I think definitely I've seen, and also from the leadership and the top leadership to the minister and also to the mayors and the people of Cameroon.
Thank you very, very much for coming, and please enjoy Cameroon and come back to Cameroon anytime you want.
I will, definitely. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Well, stay with us. Let's go over to the Northwest region, where Governor Adolphe Lille-Lafrique has announced that investigations are on the way to determine the cause of the death of 2 ex-fighters of the Bamenda Disarmament Demobilization Center. The governor made the declaration during an event to comfort the ex-separatists following the incident that led to their death. Eric Lamia-Wofo reports from Bamenda.
The 2 ex-fighters from Akko subdivision in Donga Mantum died from bullet wounds on September 25, 2021 in Bamenda. At the Bamenda Disarmament and Demobilization Center, the about 200 ex-combatants are still in a state of depression. Northwest Governor, who has been at the center, has announced plans to investigate the cause of the incident.
I'm here to express to them the concern of the head of state and his government after the passing on of 2 of their colleagues in circumstances that has to be clarified by the inquiries that have started.
He has donated food items and financial assistance to the ex-combatants. In the meantime, the Bamenda 2 Council has declared its intention to recruit 5 of the ex-combatants in the council area. The regional coordinator of the Bamenda DDR Center, Kum Henry, has requested the public to forgive and accept the repentant ex-fighters and facilitate their reinsertion into normal life of socio-economic activities.
The execution rate of the 30-megawatt power plant in Lompanga now stands at 60%, while the construction of the 90 kV transmission line at Betua Power Station are advancing smoothly. This revelation was made by the General Manager of the Electricity Development Corporation, Dr. Theodore Nsangu, while receiving a consignment of penstocks on the site. Celestine Sambele reports from Lompanga.
The first stop of the Director General of EDC, Dr. Theodore Nsangu, was in the locality of Churake, where a 140-meter-long bridge over the River Lom is under construction. This structure will be a welcome replacement of the ferry and will drastically improve the state of well-being of the local population.
We are very confident that we will be in position to commission this bridge, very important bridge, before the end of the year.
The Director General also visited another major undertaking of the Lompanga project at the site where 28 modern apartments are being built for eco guards at the Deng Deng Forest Reserve, one of the last havens of endangered gorillas. At the Lompanga Dam, work is at an advanced state as water conduits for the turbines are already in place. The receiving facility in Betua, where electrical energy will be channeled to Baturi and Abombang, as well as provide stable power to some 150 villages, is near completion. The Lompanga project is destined to transform the lives of the local population and open the area for durable economic prosperity.
Africa needs broad and equitable access to the vaccine. Indeed, how can we achieve herd immunity with less than 5% of our citizens currently vaccinated?
Zero prevalence of the coronavirus pandemic in the different regions of Cameroon remains the main objective of the Ministry of Public Health. On the efforts of the ministry and results of a recent survey, let's meet Baldwin Sama and his guest, Dr. Joseph Fokam, at the Public Health Emergency Center, CUSP. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Benin Bumagana. Effectively, one of the objectives of the government of Cameroon is to get to where we talk about zero prevalence as far as the coronavirus in Cameroon is concerned. With these investigations, let's find out from our guest tonight, Dr. Joseph Fokam, a virologist. What are some of the results with regards to zero prevalence of COVID-19 in Cameroon? Good evening to you, Doctor.
Good evening, buddy.
After investigations talking about zero prevalence of the pandemic in the country, what are some of the results we can talk about so far?
During the first phase of the pandemic, we had approximately 29% of exposure based on antibody testing in the city of Yaoundé, and thereafter, directly after the second wave of the pandemic, we realized the rate of zero prevalence, which means the proportion of people exposed to COVID-19 has dropped down to 10%. What does this mean? This means that people have different level of exposure according to the level of the wave we also have in the country. So as the wave decreases, we also have lower rate of seropositivity. And one major implication is that when you are antibody positive, it means you have developed immunity against the virus. So we are seeing a decreased rate of immunity based on the decreased rate of seroprevalence, and which means if we don't turn out massively for vaccination, then we will still keep having many Cameroonians vulnerable for the infection. We will still keep seeing people going in the hospital, and unfortunately, we will still keep having cases dying due to COVID-19.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Fokam. The positivity rate increases, and the zero positivity rate is still very low in Cameroon, and we are being reminded of the need to have ourselves vaccinated in the 10 different regions of Cameroon against the coronavirus. Back to you, Benin Bumagana.
Thank you, Baldwin Sama van Kamen. Let's talk about the start of the academic year. As higher institutions of learning in Cameroon get set to resume classes for the 2021-2022 academic year, some universities are stepping up security with the implementation of surveillance cameras and the recruitment of security guards. Salisona Tafaha reports on how some universities are getting ready for the reopening.
Alert! The camera is rolling, keeping an eye on the campus as universities get ready to officially resume for the 2021-2022 academic year. Ensuring student and staff safety on campuses is of top priority to most universities in Yaoundé. At the University of Yaoundé 1, all has been put in place to help freshmen find their way around.
Check documents by documents and verify if they are authentic, after which we orientate them into the different halls. We have computer science, biology, and all the rest.
Announcement or information from the different departments of studies have been neatly pasted here for these newcomers to consult at will. Elsewhere, it's a furnished computer lab with internet facility to ease learning, which awaits its occupants. As the clock ticks to the D-Day, it's business for these traders in school stationery.
And as the 6th of October, day for reopening for universities draw nearer, thousands of candidates are knocking at the doors of different faculties for admission. All students and lecturers are also flooding the university cities for other arrangements ahead of the reopening. Gladys Asu develops that story for us.
University students are eager to return to an active and vibrant campus this year as they brace up for resumption amid the pandemic. With a full range of university activities planned, students are getting into the school mood with aim of validating all courses.
I've been preparing since the holidays. I've been reading my books as usual to reach my target of this year. My expectation is that the teachers should be there as they did last year in order to prepare us for the level 3.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance, they say. Basil has already sorted out his personal study room for the year.
I came in contact with my landlady and I already paid my 1 year. Concerning the classes, I came also in contact with those senior students and I take a lesson from them to read and to achieve the year with. So I'm already prepared for the academic year.
This is a busy period in all universities as old and new students are getting the right orientation, compiling files, while coordination meetings by the administration are ongoing.
About 42 tons of non-biodegradable plastic packaging less than 60 microns thick have been destroyed in Garoua. They were impounded from smugglers at the Garoua fluvial port by the North Regional Delegation of the Environment, Nature Protection and Sustainable Development in collaboration with the North Customs Sector. Luisa Akwanka Achato reports.
The latest consignment of non-biodegradable plastic packaging, less than 60 microns thick, of varied sizes, weighing close to 42 tons, were displayed on the premises of the North Regional Delegation of the Environment, Nature Protection and Sustainable Development in Garoua. The lot was impounded at the Garoua Fluvial Port in a joint operation carried out by the North Regional Delegation of the Environment and the North Customs Sector on the 19th of September 2021.
The fight against illicit products, the role of regulators that the Customs Administration is holding. After that, we handle it to the judiciary first, and after to the competent administration to just destruct those goods.
The plastic bags were shredded in the presence of the North Governor's representative, Mr. Buka, who underscored the government's determination to hold the importation, commercialization and use of these non-eco-friendly substances to bring defaulters to book and to protect the population and the environment from this forbidden plastic packaging.
The Touchstone Baptist Church today celebrated its 7th anniversary. The anniversary was also an occasion to graduate 30 new preachers, as we hear in this report by Ruth Nje.
Implies the Touchstone Baptist Church has been touching and changing lives for the past years. A double celebration for the church as it celebrated its 7th anniversary and also the graduation of 30 new preachers.
These are spiritual voices for the nation Cameroon. We need spiritual voices, and God has given Cameroon these 30 people a spiritual voice to speak for peace.
Receiving their certificates after 6 months of intense training, the preachers were urged to win souls for Christ.
I feel so excited that today I'm graduating from the International School of Ministry. So the joy is overflowing. I'm so happy. I have to live a life worthy of Christ and to let my community come to the saving knowledge of God.
Their 7th anniversary also crowned the week of celebration as last Saturday, Touchstone Baptist Church ordained 3 new pastors.
Let's say something on culture now. At Artist of the Week is Bikutsi Singer, making his debut with 2 singles. Anise Manga is also a bass guitarist and has been among the famous or most famous cabaret singers in Yaoundé. Victor Siga has more on the artist.
At 41, his desire to reach the peak of his dream is still marking the minds of many. Anise Manga, Bikutsi singer and guitarist, has forged his way at the sight of prominent Cameroonian artists like Aijo Mamadou. Today, he is counted among Cameroonian Bikutsi singers with 2 tracks to his credit. Oh, yes! Passionate and committed, Anise Manga affirms he finds pleasure in cabaret when his guitar's hollow body amplifies the sounds of the vibrating strings to the pleasure of fans. With more projects in the pipeline, the native of Mvok Manga in the central region is out to promote his culture through music.
Thank you very much for watching the 7:30 news. At 8:30 at the...
As part of efforts to combat COVID-19 in particular, we must consolidate the gains already achieved and intensify mobilization for the ongoing vaccination campaigns in our countries.